Hey everybody, how we doing? Just taking a few minutes ahead of the episode today to talk about some things. If you want to skip right ahead to that content, I'll just be a few minutes here and I will leave a little timestamp in the description so you can get right ahead if you don't care about this. But we lost a really good member of our society on Saturday night, a friend of the podcast. His name was Michael. He's a friend of mine, a friend of Mason's. And I can't really say he was like an avid listener, but he was a huge fan of anything cryptids, so he would always tune in for those. So tonight's episode is dedicated to him. He was an awesome guy. He really was. I know it's cliche to say, but he really was one of those people that lit up the room with his smile, and he would always give you a great big hug when you saw him, and he was just genuinely an awesome person. And he did social work. He just had a big positive impact on not only the people around him, but the world. I mean, he was an exemplary person on how to conduct oneself and how to be. But I want to remember him today, keep him in our hearts. This episode is going out for him. And to all the other people that we lost is kind of around Memorial Day. So let's just take kind of a moment right now to just be grateful to be here, to be alive, to be part of this thing called life. It's pretty awesome that we get a chance to do this. We go to work, we go to school, we have so much shit to do all the time that we kind of forget that at any point it can just be done. So just take a few minutes today, tell your loved ones that you love them. Take some time to spend with them. Just be human for a little bit. Be human for a little bit. Don't worry about social media. Don't worry about work. Just be a human being for a little bit. So that's all I got. I had a lot more, but I'm going off the cuff, and I just wanted to say something from my heart. So hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Two Cats, One Dog podcast. I am your host, Daniel Martin. To my right, as always, is your co-host, Jeffrey Lee.
Well, hi.
Well, hi there. To his right is a big, hairy Ethan, the dog, Kern. Woof, woof, motherfucker. Woof, woof. Say hi to your friends.
Do I even have any friends?
You've got two friends.
You got
and they're both right here.
Oh, touche. The Ropen?
The Ropen.
The Ropen.
Is that like a false cognate?
It's it's a Ropen. It's a false Colgate. So the Ropen is a nocturnal glowing creature reported in Umboy Island in Papua New Guinea, which is, as you guys know from our cannibal episode, that's where they do cannibalism a lot. That's where at one point in the 70s, over 1% of their fucking deaths was from Kuru, which is metal as fuck, that's dude. The Ropen is a nocturnal glowing creature reported on Umboy Island in Papua New Guinea, widely believed by some cryptozoologists to be a living protosaur, specifically a
Rhamphorhynchoid.
due to consistent descriptions of a long-tailed, featherless, leathery-winged flyer. The word Ropen means bird in some regional dialects.
Oh, so it is a false cognate.
Yeah. And in others I told you it was a false Colgate, and in others refers to the large flying fox fruit bat. However, witnesses from both the native and Western backgrounds have described a much larger creature with distinctive glowing behavior and protosaur-like features. Between 1994 and 2004, at least 5 expeditions were led by American creationists: Carl Baugh, Paul Nation, Jonathan Whitcomb, Garth Guessman. For a fucking creationist to be named Garth Guessman.
Garth Guessman.
He's like, I don't know, man. Just I guess, yeah, fucking God, I guess. It's fucking God. And David Wetzel. Though sightings were limited to brief views of mysterious lights in the sky, often lacking clear shape or definition. Despite minimal direct encounters, by the mid-2000s, the cryptid had gained recognition in the West, boosted by TV features on Destination Truth and Monster Quest. By 2006, theories diverged. Whitcomb favored connections to Sordus pilus, while Wetzel leaned towards Dimorphodon. Both are Rhamphorhynchoid.
Your word.
Your word
is also
Rhamphorhynchoid. Can you use it in a sentence? By 2006, theories diverged. Whitcomb favored connections to Sordus pilus, while Wetzel leaned towards Dimorphodon. Both are
Rhamphorhynchoids.
Small, long-tailed species with bat-like wings. Eyewitness accounts and flight behavior. Locals and Westerners alike described a giant winged, tail-heavy creature. Common elements include long, diamond-tipped tail, leathery, flightless wings, bioluminescent glow. So far
It's
we're
a
just
fucking
describing. Yeah, I was just gonna
It's a
say we're just
dragon.
describing Richard Ramirez so far. Nocturnal hunting, especially for fish. I'm more Richard Ramirez. Roosting upright on the tree trunks. Over 90% of the sightings are of the Ropen light, a brief 5-second glow observed at night, often flying 100 to 160 meters above the trees. Investigators speculate the light serves as navigation while the creature descends or searches for prey on reefs. One notable local, Jonah Jim, repeatedly reported sightings from near Abbagoochie village and estimated flight altitudes of about 5 to 600 feet. The Papua New Guinea spear encounter in a lesser-known yet striking account from Umboy Island, a man once attempted to attack a Ropen with a spear. Ooh. According to village reports, the man spotted the glowing creature while it rested near the edge of the forest. With great courage, he hurled his spear into the creature's side. The Ropen shrieked and flapped its wings violently, disappearing into the dark sky. It was never recovered. This story, yeah. So you really want those. You want to get the black box of the Ropen so you can see all the internal flight
Dude,
data.
that guy's name was Jonah Jim.
Jonah Jim.
How did we skip over his name is Jonah Jim? Like, you got to be a personal
Jonah
trainer with
Jim.
that fucking name. Yeah, my name's Jonah Jim.
He's like, I know this guy. He's like super motivational. He'll really get you. He'll really
What's his
get you
name?
there.
Jonah Jim.
Jonah
No,
Jim.
seriously, really funny. What's his fucking name?
Jonah Jim.
Jonah.
The story persists locally, often cited as proof of the creature's physical presence and the danger it may pose. Other PNG sightings in Papua New Guinea, Indava, and variants. In 2006, Paul Nation filmed 2 lights on a ridge above the remote village of Tawa. Locals there called the creature Indava and described it as plain-sized, roosting on cliffs. Imagine just seeing a fucking 737-sized bat just hanging out on the side of that fucking freaked me out too. Though no colony was confirmed, villagers reported that Indavas live in trees and migrate frequently. During a 2007 follow-up expedition, cold weather seemed to have driven them away. Paul Nation learned to distinguish their dull yellow lights from automobile headlights as the creature flew along mountain ridges far from roads. It's probably just an old 67 Volkswagen Beetle that everybody's seeing. Terms like duaz, wawaner, and Siklo Bali in various Papua New Guinea languages may refer to similar entities. Native descriptions carefully distinguish Ropens from flying foxes. Ropens glow, eat fish, have long tails, and perch upright on trees. Post-2007, researchers began investigating similar reports in North America. Flashing lights resembling Ropen glows were spotted in the U.S. West Coast. One sighting by cryptozoologist Scott T. Norman described a close encounter. Whitcomb and others pursued reports of a large bioluminescent flyers catching bats mid-air, suggesting a similar ecological niche. In 2008, multiple secret sites were under observation. One Southern California witness describes a 30-foot creature with a long tail. In 2017, Jonathan Whitcomb and physicist Clifford Paiva declared the controversial PTP photo, a supposed Civil War-era image of soldiers standing over a large pseudosaur, authentic. They cited drag marks, a broken sapling, natural positioning of soldiers, and anatomical consistency. Photoshop hoax claims were refuted based on photo analysis. Some researchers, including Wetzel and Whitcomb, connected the Ropen to the fiery flying serpent of the Old Testament, proposing that ancient observers saw bioluminescent winged creatures whose long tails, when folded at rest, resembled snakes. While they don't claim Ropens are the same species, they believe there may be a relationship. Skeptics have proposed explanations ranging from misidentified flying foxes to biased or dishonest reporting. However, several points challenge those rebuttals. Fruit bats don't glow or have long tails.
That's true.
That's true. I mean, not the fruit bats that I've seen. Multiple credible eyewitnesses, including World War II pilot Duane Hodgkinson and Islander Gideon Coro, described creatures far larger than bats. And, of course, the mental health of eyewitnesses, including psychologist Brian Hennessy, supports their credibility. Sightings are cross-cultural and geographically isolated. Some critics accuse investigators of religious bias or unscientific motivation, but others argue that skepticism can be equally biased, especially when dismissing eyewitnesses without detailed analysis. That's the thing.
That's the Ropen.
That's the dragon.
Ropen.
The Ropen. Yeah, that's a dragon, dude. That's a
That's just a
fucking
dragon.
dragon.
Yeah, you just kept
Now-
saying things that are dragons.
Yeah, no,
No.
and now I want to know, What I want to know is why this thing wasn't spotted in China, where all the dragons come from.
That is. Yeah,
Wait, are China? Okay, wait, are
there's different
dragons? Is it? It's
There's
China, right?
different kinds.
Okay.
The dragons come from many lores, but like the two most notable are fucking Norse mythology, if I'm not mistaken, and definitely like Chinese. You think of Chinese dragons?
Do we know, like, are they edible? They are predator meat.
question.
You probably wouldn't want to eat a
Yeah,
dragon.
that's true. They're
You'd
kind of
probably
high
be
up on the
lousy
food
with
chain.
parasites.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's well, especially if they're eating humans.
Yeah.
I don't
It's
want to eat
weird.
anything that's eaten a human, not from cannibal concerns, but from health concerns.
Yeah, no, the cannibalism aspect of it's fine. I'm pretty morally gray, but Abbagoochie is a ferocious little creature. So, and this is, by the way, this is the cutest cryptid. I wish that we had our pilot seat on tonight where we could show you guys pictures while we go like we normally do, but we don't have Mason tonight and the computer's broken. We'll fix it next week and we'll get Mason next week. But the Abbagoochie is a ferocious little creature said to resemble a bizarre cross between an owl, a fox, and a deer. Native to Costa Rica, it's nicknamed the dry land piranha due to its alleged tendency to devour anything in its path, even animals significantly larger than itself, such as cows and horses. According to lore, if an Abbagoochie finds itself cornered, it will destroy itself in a devilish whirlwind rather than be captured. These elusive beings are believed to mate only once every 6.5 years.
Damn.
So, and there's a lot to unpack here, okay? First off, the idea that it has a self-destruct button
Yeah,
and it can
that's
literally
pretty nuts.
Tasmanian devil
Dude.
itself to death is kind of fucking hilarious.
Fucking, it's a fucking
It's an Abbagoochie.
First of all, Abbagoochie's a great
Abbagoochie,
band.
I
That's
love
all I could think of.
Abbagoochie.
Was I was just like, man, they make good music. Yeah, it's a fucking Nibblonian,
What's a Neblonian?
fucking Futurama, Nibbler,
Yeah.
a tiny little thing who eats fucking giant things. In the show, he eats huge fucking things. And when he's in danger,
shits
he
dark
eats,
matter or
yeah.
something?
And
Oh,
when,
yeah.
when they're in danger, he eats. He's like everyone out of this reality and eats himself and fucking vanishes into another reality. So like, it's
Wow,
a fucking
that's kind of yeah,
dude. That's
it
like at
literally
first I was
is.
like, okay, yeah, but then he said that and I was like, fuck.
Yeah, because I was thinking in my head, like, I don't know, there's games where like these little cute little things come up to you and they're like, come be my friend, and then they go, "Ugh," and they like get big and like fucking kill
Yeah,
you.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of.
Well-
but I know there's a name for that kind of like cryptid, but I don't know.
Did you guys ever fucking play the Cap and Crunch fucking games that used to come with the fucking
With the, like
the
CD-ROMs?
computer games? Yeah, that came with the
I played the ET one
No,
because
I
there's
played
one.
Chex
no.
Quest.
there was Chex Quest Risk.
Chex Quest was the shit.
was great.
Hell
10 out of
yeah,
10
dude.
game. No, this one they had like little crunch balls from the Cap and Crunch, like the berries, and like they were like you had to like fucking raise them.
Oh, I do
Oh,
remember the
gotcha.
Crunch.
yeah,
Ball.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I
But
never
that's
played it.
I
though.
initially pictured that, and then you described the shit, and I was like, okay, now you're just describing it.
No, but what's funny about this creature is it kind of looks like, obviously it's ugly as fuck. It is very ugly, but it's teeny tiny, and that's what makes it cute. But he's got these weird little like, you know, those like those old tiny dogs that they had like their teeth, their bottom row of teeth is kind of like the underbite, and they just run
I
around.
know
Like,
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah,
I just saw one
and
yesterday.
you just feel bad for it.
Yeah,
You're
I
just
just
like,
saw.
man.
Yeah, it just looks like it's just like this little fucking rat. That's what it looks like, dude. And it's like cute in a sense, you know.
No,
And-
I get it.
yeah. So, in a decision many later questioned, the West Virginia Division of Natural Resources, WVDNR, reportedly introduced 13 Abbagoochie specimens into the Appalachian wilderness in 1999. The goal was to, now obviously this is a theory. There's no such, I mean, theoretical,
sounds
yeah,
pretty
it
real to
sounds pretty
me.
real.
I'm pretty sure I was
Yeah.
there.
The goal was to reduce the populations of nuisance predators like the coyote and rattlesnake. However, the plan soon unraveled. Not only did the Abbagoochie survive, they allegedly began multiplying at a rapid rate and preying on local livestock.
Wait, but I thought they only fucked once every 6 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't
that's
poke
the
holes in
crazy-
this.
That's
Don't
the
poke holes
craziest,
in this.
the craziest thing about that for me is like, how do you know it's fucking mating patterns?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't because you fucking don't.
Because like, I don't even think I've speculation as to what Bigfoot's potential like breeding seasons might be.
No, I don't think I have.
Yeah.
Now that you mention it, I don't
yeah,
think I have either.
so how are they like? Yeah, actually, only every 6 years.
So as early as 99, disturbing whispers circulated throughout the state. Hunters began reporting strange, aggressive animals deep in the woods. Livestock maimings and mysterious animal deaths became more frequent. There were even scattered rumors that humans had been attacked, even though they were dismissed as hysteria, at least at first. Then, and February 2001. Good month, by the way. That was a good month for me. The Webster Echo published an article by Jim Wilson that would set off a full-blown panic. Wilson's report confirmed what many locals had feared. The Abbagoochie population was not only real, it was out of control.
Oh my God.
Reports of attacks and sightings poured in from across the region. Some farmers began keeping shotguns by their doors because they never did that before. Parents personally escorted children to school bus stops. Again, never did that one before. One motorist claimed to have run over one of the beasts. In September 30th, so this is kind of the timeline broken up. So on the 30th, 1999, September 30th, 1999, 13 Abbagoochies were allegedly released into the mountainous terrain of West Virginia by the WVDNR as part of a covert wildlife program. Now, I've never heard those string of words together before in my fucking life. A covert wildlife operation is fucking crazy. Over time, they began to multiply and devastate animal populations in this area, and some claimed posed a threat to humans. And then in January 2001, noted taxidermist David Van de Vander crafted the first known mount of an Abbagoochie.
His parents kick ass.
Dude, his parents do kick ass. David Van de Vander. After hearing repeated descriptions from alarmed hunters and fishermen, he compiled their accounts and sculpted a model of the creature. When the mount was displayed, witnesses constantly confirmed, that looks just like what I saw. So basically, he made a fucking jackrabbit. The guy made a jackrabbit and took the world by storm. February 7th, 2001, the Webster Echo and the Webster Republican printed Wilson's bombshell article in the Abbagoochie outbreak in a segment called Country Store Corner. Fear quickly gripped the community. And then in February of that year, just a few weeks later, Tom Clark published an editorial in the same paper declaring the entire Abbagoochie affair a hoax. This move was intended to quell the spreading fear among residents. Many suspected the reaction had been made under pressure. They're like, under pressure, like, yeah, guys, we got to get this Abbagoochie shit under control, under lock and key. People are panicking. People are stealing toilet paper. We can't have this. So then in late March 2002, in response to a rising number of missing persons reports across several mountainous West Virginia counties, FBI agent Pete Baldwin launched a secret task force. Operating under the guise of hunters and fishermen, these agents were tasked with locating and exterminating the Abbagoochies, which is kind of sounds like a fucking cool movie. Can you imagine, like, you're working at the Parks and Rec department and then like three fucking spooks come in to like pretend like, hey, we're the new people. We're definitely not FBI agents. Do you know where I can get some weed, man?
I like to look at it from the point of view where it's just like, okay, so they're like, yeah, we need you to go hunt and find this animal.
But you can't
so
say a
pretend
fucking
to
word.
be hunters and fishers. It's like, they don't even have to pretend. They're just doing
That's what they're doing. There's no pretending.
Yeah, like it's just, they're just doing their job. Like,
we're gonna go undercover as hunters and fishermen, and to go and hunt and fish this thing to its extinction is just fucking so funny.
Yeah, dude, I need to make a bunch of money, so I'm gonna pretend to be an Alaskan fisherman. And
I'm gonna go
fish for crabs in Alaska.
In Alaska, I'm gonna pretend.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go make a bunch of money by pretending to go work at this job 9 to 5 every day, day in and day out.
It's like
the
a
Key and Peele skit is literally
Yeah.
what it is,
All
dude.
right, this is what we do.
Motherfucker, that's a job, dude. So later that fall, fast forward to fall of 2004, after repeated failure to locate the creatures, the FBI handed the case over to the Department of Homeland Security.
Oh, Jesus.
Because apparently that just keeps going up higher and higher to the next desk. Post 9/11 sensitivities to mass panic escalated the urgency. Are you really going to tell me that the Abbagoochie panic of 2002 got exacerbated because of fucking 9/11? Jeez,
Are you going to
man.
tell me that 9/11 didn't change everything?
No, you're fucking right.
Because 9/11 changed
It
everything.
changed everything.
It kind of did, though. The DHS...
I know.
It's funny because it's true. The DHS increased efforts to eliminate any remaining Abbagoochies and to suppress public knowledge of the situation. In April 2008, Jim Wilson published a book titled Abbagoochies and You. I'm just kidding. Published a book titled Abbagoochie Gotcha, The Making of a Legend, presenting the story as a satirical account of a small-town hysterica, or of small-town hysteria. But not everyone was convinced it was fiction. In May of that year, Wilson was visited by federal and state officials alongside his family attorney. Under pressure, he signed a legal document swearing secrecy and agreeing to refer to the entire Abbagoochie phenomenon as a fabricated hoax. On Thanksgiving Day of 2008, after continuing reports of disappearances in Potomac Highlands area, Wilson confided in his son, also named Jim Wilson, that the story may have not been a hoax after all. Regretting his silence, he shared what he knew. And now, up from then until present, the younger Wilson, together with his teenage daughter, launched a personal investigation into the truth behind the Abbagoochie mystery. Though many still scoff at the legend, the Wilson family continues to uncover information suggesting the story may have been more than just backwoods folklore. That's it. That's the Abbagoochie. The Abbagoochie. Did you see pictures of it?
Yeah, he looks like a gremlin.
Looks like
It does look like a little gremlin.
Looks like a
He looks
little
like a
gremlin.
gremlin.
Like if you took like a
but,
Furby and like sent it through hell.
Yeah. Or like
It's fucking horrifying.
It looks like one of those small dogs too. Is the funny thing.
Yeah, I told you, dude.
It
Doesn't
could
look
have
like
just been like they're like, yeah, they only reproduce every 6 years. It's like, nah, dude, that's like the fucking gestation period of rabies.
yeah. Right, no, seriously, yeah.
Or incubation, not gestation. I'm pregnant with rabies.
Pregnant with rabies.
She's gravel with gravy with gravies with gravies.
Oh fuck yeah, no, that's like, nah, dude, those are just some fucking rabbit ass dogs.
Just a little rat dog, dude.
It's
Just
like I
a
was
little rat.
saying earlier in take one, like, dude, they just fucking like, it's just a dude who's bad at taxonomy.
Well,
it's just a
so-
guy who's like, I don't know what that
I'm
is.
looking at.
I've
we
never
can-
like, dude, that's a baby seal. The
Yeah,
fuck,
and I
like,
think-
I've never seen that in my entire life. So I'm gonna
Well,
say
just
that's a
because
new
you've never
species.
seen it, yeah, it's something you don't know. And I do think it's important to have that conversation. Before we get back to that first story that we have to redo, because these cryptids, right? These things that a lot of them are going. 90% of it is just misidentified shit and hysterical people, and then you have like another couple people that are just charlatans and they want to take it. You know, you have your P.T. Barnums of the world.
Suckers born every minute.
Yeah, exactly. And people are there to cash in on it every minute. So I do think a lot of cryptid stuff is kind of a lot of truth is stretched, but I do find it incredibly fascinating. And like I'd mentioned, when we started this whole cryptid thing when we started this with the megalodon, and we did that because that was an example of a cryptid that we thought was not real, and then one day we proved it real. And then you tacked on to that, Ethan, that, of course, 2004 is when we officially discovered the colossal squid. Anytime before that, that was a cryptid. That was just a theoretical, was outside of the realm of actual hard science. So we're not saying that any of these could or couldn't exist. It's just a lot of them happen to have some pretty fucking stupid stories. But I'm here for it, dude. I love every second of it.
Well, it's like, and like the cool thing about the fucking Abbagoochie is like, if the worst thing that comes out of this is like some people freak out, that's great. Like, you didn't burn anyone?
It said that he
If we're
hurt
talking-
people. No, that's
oh.
what we're doing when cryptids attack. It said that it was hurting humans.
but that's like not. That's like, you know, if the
It didn't
hysteria,
kill anybody.
If the hysteria that comes from that though, like nobody gets like, I don't know, burned or accused of being a witch. Like solid.
It's better than what you're saying. It's better than historical hysteria.
Yeah, significantly, more palatable for me.
More palatable. Yeah, I think we've kind of we overstepped that line a few times in history. I don't know, crusades, witch hunts, the civil rights movements, killing. Well, when we killed fucking MLK Jr.
Yeah.
Which we got to do an episode on that one day on assassinations done by like probably internal because Malcolm X wasn't there, like he was assassinated too. Yeah, like it's fucked up. All right, so the next one we're doing, the Procter Valley Monster of California, the beast of Chula Vista. In the shadowy canyons and dusty hills of eastern Chula Vista, California, there lies a stretch of road with a reputation as chilling as the night air that rolls across it. Procter Valley Road, an unpaved and largely isolated route, has for decades been the focal point of one of Southern California's most enduring cryptid legends, the Procter Valley Monster. I knew a lady named Dr. Procter. I'm not even joking.
Fun.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Hey, Dr. Procter.
Was she
Dr.
a
Procter.
I
proctologist?
just can't think of a fucking less scary thing. Like the word Proctor alone,
I don't like it.
it's not a
It's a
very
it's a
like
scary-
intimidating word. It's to me, I hear Proctor and I'm like, dude, like get me out of this office.
Get me out of here.
Yeah, like I'm in
Get
an
that
office.
Proctor away
Because
from
a
me.
proctor,
Get the
that's
Dr.
like
Proctor
somebody
away
that
from me.
like oversees like somebody taking a test, right? Or,
Yeah,
like,
I think a
gives-
proctor. Yeah.
Gives an
Fairly
exam.
certain,
Yeah. Like you're a proctor.
I am.
Yeah. You test by testing the grace of God every day. Your existence.
Every day you test my patience.
Just doing my
But see,
job.
my other problem is that I think of proctologist when I think of the word
Yeah,
proctor.
I don't want it my butt
Like
all
that's
fucking.
like my first thing I think is
prodded.
just fucking.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe it'd be nice. Who knows? Described in varying but consistently unnerving ways, the creature is said to be a towering bipedal beast, half man, half animal, covered in mangy fur, with massive hooved feet, glowing eyes, and a stench so overpowering that some witnesses report being physically ill after close encounters. Kind of like when you go up to an old lady and they have that very distinct perfume. Others say it has long ape-like arms, the snout of a canine, and claws capable of slicing through sheet metal. Some compare it to a deformed minotaur, others to a feral Bigfoot, and still others believe it may be the result of a failed government experiment gone wrong, an escaped creature that has thrived in the wilderness of the Procter Valley backcountry for generations.
This is some racist homeless people hate.
Oh, dude, absolutely.
It's giving super racist person sees a homeless man.
Guess what? It gets better. And the 1970s attack. And then this comes to the attack. One of the most infamous and often repeated tales tied to the Procter Valley monster occurred in the early 1970s. A grim legend that has circulated in hushed tones around campfires and backyards for decades. According to the story, a teenage couple ventured down Procter Valley Road one night to be alone. I don't know why. I don't know why a teenage couple would want to be alone at night. That's
Couldn't
weird.
think of a single reason.
Me either.
That's true. That's dangerous.
That's
scary.
dangerous. That's
Yeah.
scary. Don't be
Weird.
alone. Always bring your friend. Always
Yeah.
bring your mom.
Never be alone.
At some point during their drive, the car suffered a flat tire, and the young man exited the vehicle to inspect it. He's like, yep, that's flat. There's your problem. His girlfriend waited inside, increasingly anxious in the oppressive silence of the canyon. As the minutes passed, she began to hear scratching and scraping sounds above her, a metallic dragging across the car's roof. Too frightened to investigate, she waited until the morning when a passerby discovered the vehicle and called the police. When officers arrived, they made a horrific discovery. The young man's body was suspended from a tree above the car, his fingernails torn off desperately, clawing at the roof. So that was his fingernails on there. Ew. Ew. Authorities reportedly found strange tracks around the vehicle, not human, not animal, but difficult to explain. Though this tale has many of the hallmarks of an urban legend, what sets it apart is the persistence and consistency in local retellings. Even among people who've never met, several individuals over the years have claimed to know someone who is related to the girl, or to have heard similar stories well before the internet could have spread the myth. While the 1970s attack remains the most widely shared, it is not the only alleged violent encounter. During the late 80s, hikers and off-road bikers began to report disturbing experiences. One local man claimed that his friend was ambushed by a horned thing that charged out of the brush just after dusk. I just imagine it's like some Jeffrey Dahmer all horned up, running out of a bush. She's like, come here, I'm going to come knock you out and have sex with your dead body.
That could have been what it was.
It could have been.
Like,
That was a horned creature right there, man.
3 horns.
3 horns. Yeah, one was in his pants. The friend was found the next day, dazed, bleeding, and incoherent, with long gouges across his chest. He couldn't describe what had attacked him, only that it moved too fast and that its eyes glowed like coals. Another account from the mid-1990s involved a pair of teens whose vehicle broke down near the southern bend of the road. They claimed that something charged the car, dented the rear quarter panel, and left deep claw marks on the trunk. The police were called, and though officers suspected vandals, the sheer size and depths of the claw marks led many to believe otherwise. A local tow truck driver, interviewed later, stated plainly, "I've seen a lot of accidents out there. That wasn't done by a tool or a person. But maybe a tool of a person." Ranchers in the area...
Or a person with a tool.
with a claw tool. I got my claw tools on. Ranchers... It was Wolverine. Ranchers in the area have also blamed the beast for missing livestock. The reports of goats and calves being torn apart and dragged off. One particularly unsettling report from 2003 claimed that 3 goats were found dismembered, their heads placed in a perfect triangle with no sign of a struggle, as if something intelligent and methodical had done it. Aside from its physical sightings, the area itself seems charged with paranormal activity. Drivers had reported seeing phantom headlights that vanish upon approach, or encountering a woman in white who appears at the roadside before fading into thin air. That is just roadside assistance from OnStar, but it's a common misconception.
A lot of AAA members.
Yeah, and you know what? We suggested they wear some kind of uniform, but it just goes. You know how corporate is. it goes nowhere but down. Several paranormal investigators believe that the monster may have been tied to spiritual disturbances, or that it feeds off of fear generated by the already haunted terrain. Some even claim the monster is a shapeshifter or skinwalker, taking different forms depending on the person who sees it. Sometimes human-like, other times animalistic. These stories are bolstered by tales of voices mimicking loved ones calling out from the trees and hoof prints that lead to nowhere, which is a telltale skinwalker thing.
Oh, yeah.
So mimicking names, and that shit is really creepy to me. I remember when we talked about the skinwalkers and the idea that you could be like, you think that you hear your loved one saying like, oh, hey, Ethan, come over here. And then I'm sitting in a different fucking room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's creepy, dude. That freaks me the fuck out. And still, what unites all these stories, whether firsthand sightings, whispered warnings, or mutilated remains, is a sense that something is not right in Procter Valley. Something is watching, something is hunting. And on moonless nights, when the wind dies down and the dirt road stretches endlessly ahead, you might just hear it breathing.
Do you need your inhaler?
Yeah, I need somebody. Okay. In the mythologies of several Bantu-speaking cultures, a mysterious creature known as the Mokele-mbembe is said to inhabit the vast swampy regions of the Congo River Basin. Its name roughly translates to one who stops the flow of rivers, and descriptions of it vary. Some say it's a reptilian animal, others say it's a spirit or a phantom, while still others believe it's a living member of a long-extinct group of dinosaurs known as sauropods. Large herbivorous creatures characterized by massive bodies, long necks, and whip-like tails. Throughout the 20th century, Mokele-mbembe became a point of obsession for cryptozoologists and young Earth creationists who saw in the legend a potential contradiction to evolutionary science. Many expeditions were funded and launched with a specific hope of proving that dinosaurs might still walk the Earth, particularly in an effort to challenge the scientific consensus on evolution. Paleontologist Donald Procter has remarked that the quest for the Mokele-mbembe is part of the effort by creationists to overthrow the theory of evolution and teaching of science by any means possible. The only people seriously searching for the creature were creationist missionaries rather than trained wildlife biologists. Most mainstream researchers argue that sightings of the creature were likely inspired by real animals such as the black rhinoceroses, which once thrived in the region but has since vanished from many parts of Central Africa. Historian Edward Guimont suggests that the Mokele-mbembe legend evolved from earlier pseudo-historical narratives about Great Zimbabwe and eventually influenced modern conspiracy theories involving reptilian beings. The earliest known account comes from 1913 and a report by German officer Captain Ludwig Freiherr von Steinzu-Launsitz, who was conducting a survey in what is now Cameroon. Though his report was never formally published, science writer Willy Ley later quoted it in The Lungfish and the Unicorn in 1941. Von Stein described a large gray-brown creature about the size of an elephant or hippopotamus with smooth skin. You would never see one of those in South Africa in the water. What, a hippo? No way.
Nah.
They're not even from there.
Yeah, they're from Detroit. They live in Detroit.
Yeah, we all know that.
They like cold climates. It reportedly had a powerful tail like that of an alligator and was fiercely territorial. According to the accounts relayed by him or local guides, canoes that approached the creature were attacked and capsized, often resulting in the deaths of those on board. And though the beast did not eat its victims, because as we said, it lives in the riverbank caves to feed on a specific type of liana with large white flowers and apple-like fruit. It's an herbivore, but it will still fuck your day up just like a hippo will. Because a hippo, I believe, is all herbivore, right? They'll eat fruit and veggies and shit.
Exactly.
But they will absolutely fucking...
They're fiercely territorial and will
kill you. And they're
just
probably
for
the
fun.
most dangerous animal on... probably one of the most dangerous animals on the planet, if we're being honest.
If you don't include mosquitoes, there's only one animal I'm aware of that
Humans?
kills more. Nope, that kills
More people
than a
than...
hippo.
What is it?
Deer.
Really?
Gotcha.
Car accidents.
That makes sense.
Oh yeah. That was about to click for me, and then that makes sense.
Yeah, no, deer are responsible for more deaths.
And mosquitoes because they carry diseases and shit. But hippos are like number 3 because just the sheer fucking mass of those units.
Well, and
they're aggressive
so
and fast.
aggressive.
They're fast too. People are. I don't think you understand how fast a hippo is.
Oh, dude, they're fucking like they were like 30, 40 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm. That's terrifying.
Yeah, fuck that.
And they're like 2 tons.
Mm-hmm, yeah. The funny thing too though is that hippos are interesting because they're extremely dense. They walk on they're more dense than water. Like one of the only animals that's more dense than water.
Interesting.
So they walk along the riverbed.
Hmm.
And so that's how they get going. That's how they get so fast when they're underwater, because they're actually fucking running underwater.
Oh my god!
So like, and it's funny because they're like, yeah, they tipped over our canoe. We could, yeah, dude, that's a fucking hippo.
It's a hippo.
I'm pretty
sure this thing was a hippo.
Yeah, like you keep saying this stuff. I'm like, man, that sounds like a hippo.
No, that's what I'm saying too. I'm like stopping myself. I'm like, you're just describing a hippo. Similar creatures have been reported across the Congo and surrounding regions. The Emola nocta, another cryptid said to resemble a horned dinosaur, shares many traits with the Mokele-mbembe, including a powerful tail and aggressive behavior. The Jagonini, described in a 1927 memoir by Alfred Alois Smith, a British trader in Gabon, was yet another similar entity said to roam the jungle. Although these tales differ in some details, they all describe large, mysterious animals with features resembling outdated reconstructions of dinosaurs like the Brontosaurus, a creature that, thanks to turn-of-the-century pop culture, has become a worldwide symbol of prehistoric mystery and has been proven to not be real. We know it's the Bronchiosaurus, or we're pretty sure.
Let me double check.
Yeah, let's double check that. And we'll come back to it. This cultural backdrop may have been influenced by those local stories that were interpreted by Westerners. The 1900s saw a huge surge in dinosaur fascination in Europe and North America alike. And as tales of Mokele-mbembe reached the West, media outlets began describing it in dinosaurian terms. Sensationalized newspaper articles from the period often took these stories at face value, helping entrench the idea of a living dinosaur in the public imagination. And we've talked about this before, the idea that Ethan has actually brought up a lot of good points in the sense that big headlines, big, crazy, controversial headlines, just like a crazy YouTube title and thumbnail, is going to get a lot of clicks and is going to get a lot of people to pay attention. Mm-hmm. And it's you want to sell those because that's your job, is to get people interested in what you're doing. You've explained that a few times.
Yeah, and newspaper's job is not to sell
the truth, but to sell
paper.
Exactly. And I think one of the big problems with that is you start to get this. Like these cryptids are like the flying saucer. You take a picture, you say, "Oh my God, there's a flying saucer crash." You put it, and then that gets out there, and it's so hard for the toothpaste to go back in that tube. Mm-hmm. You can't undo it. Now everybody who saw that first thing is going to now believe that there is a actual living dinosaur in the Congos. What did you pull up? Did you find anything good?
Nah, it was being weird.
Oh, it's okay. We'll just keep pressing. We'll keep pressing on. In 1980 and 81, biologist Roy McCall and explorer James Powell traveled to the Congo to investigate the legend. Although they found no physical proof of the Mokele-mbembe, they conducted interviews with numerous locals who shared consistent descriptions of a large, long-necked creature. Mackle would later publish a book on their findings in 1987, admitting his motivations were partially romantic, but maintaining scientific intent. Critics like Donald Prothero pointed out that Mackle was a virologist with no expertise in zoology, and that he was too readily accepted eyewitnesses' accounts without considering the possibility of exaggeration or cultural storytelling. He also dismissed those who denied the creature's existence as uninformed or uncooperative. And we kind of mentioned this. It was kind of like when Joe Rogan screamed at that lady, the actual lady who was a fucking doctor, primatologist, screaming at this lady, telling her that she's wrong about this. And I believe it was about a monkey that lived in the Congos.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I might have been not, but I think it was a South African country. It might not have been the Congos, but he just sitting there. The point that she is trying to calmly tell him, completely going over his head. You could hear it ping off of one of the fucking dents in his bald dome, dude. I'm telling you, dude, he just doesn't get it. And she's a literal expert. And I think that's kind of what is happening here. The guy's like, if you don't believe me, then you're fucking uninformed and stupid. In 1983, and when he says this was romantic in nature, it's because these people really wanted to prove this because it would show that dinosaurs where it would kind of help disprove the theory of evolution and kind of help prove the theory of creationism and help push that narrative, which is what they were trying to accomplish.
Yeah, that's true. Bible, famously full of dinosaur references.
Right. Yeah, they're fucking left, right, and center, dude.
Dude,
Don't you remember the part when
knows.
Jesus rode T-Rex to the cross? In 1983, Congolese zoologist Marcelin Anganaga claimed to have filmed the creature, but later said the footage was ruined due to camera malfunction. The lack of corroborating witnesses and changing details of his story have made it suspect. In 1985 and again in 92, Scottish explorer William Billy Gibbons, motivated largely by his creationist beliefs, led expeditions in search of the beast. Procter criticized his lack of scientific rigor and accused him of ignoring basic empirical standards, while journalist Rory Nugent's 1993 book Drums Along the Congo chronicled his own expedition, including a photograph he believed might show Mokele-mbembe. Critics like Procter dismissed it as likely depicting a floating log. But one of the most dramatic anecdotes associated with Mokele-mbembe comes from a 1970s account gathered by missionaries working in the Congo. According to these stories, a group of villagers once managed to kill a Mokele-mbembe, perhaps by driving spears into its body after it became trapped in shallow water. The villagers allegedly held a large feast, consuming the flesh of the beast, but in a twist that echoes mythic retribution and a very Shakespearean way to go out, many who ate the meat were said to have died shortly afterward. To believers, this story served as chilling proof of the creature's supernatural nature, or at least its poisonous biology. To skeptics, the tale is classic folklore, a cautionary narrative that reinforces taboo and mystery, rather than a record of real events. In the 21st century, the Mokele-mbembe legend has continued to draw interest. In a 2001 BBC documentary, members of the Biaka people were shown illustrations of animals and identified the Mokele-mbembe as a rhinoceros. And this is significant as rhinos are now rare in the Congo Basin, suggesting that local memories of such animals may have evolved into more mythical interpretations over time. In 2016, a South African documentary crew spent 4 weeks in the Likwala swamp interviewing Aka villagers about the creature. While some were convinced of its existence, others said that it died years ago. The team noted that the difficulty of separating belief in a spiritual or a metaphysical creature from belief in a biological one. In 2018, Adam Knuth led a scientific expedition to Lake Tele, accompanied by a film crew with a DNA specialist. And while they found no trace of the legendary creature, they did discover a new species of green algae. Yay!
Ooh.
Fuck yeah, dude.
All right,
That's
all
fine.
right.
Yeah, dude. I'm going to be doing my green algae suppository after this. So
Wait,
that's
so who brought the biology or the fucking
the
DNA?
DNA. Adam Knuth, who
Okay.
is a Langsgreve of Knuthenborg in Denmark. I don't know what that means.
Okay, so but like it's not like some religious thing, or is
No,
it? Okay.
he brought a film crew and DNA specialist, but I don't know what the Langsgreve of Krothenburg.
Sounds like a royal
Knuthenberg.
title.
Yeah,
Like
that's what
the
I'm thinking
Duke
too.
of
That's what I was
Doucheberry.
thinking. It was like some kind of duke or something.
Yeah, but no, just because like I'm like, man, they're like, yeah, we have a DNA specialist. It's like, okay, but like you're calling somebody with an associate's in fucking psychology like a taxonomist. Like,
Yeah,
fuck.
he
Are
could
you
have brought
sure that's
anybody.
not just like fucking? Are you sure that's not like just some dude you met at Walgreens?
Dude, literally. Despite the passion and persistence of those searching, the vast majority of scientists and historians consider the Mokele-mbembe as a legend and not a biological reality. Skeptic Ben Radford traced the origins of the myth to Carl Hagenbach's 1909 book Beasts and Men, where the author speculated, without evidence, the sauropods might still exist in Africa. His claims were picked up by the press and became a cultural phenomenon. Authors Daniel Loxton and Donald Prothero argue that Mokele-mbembe stories are best understood as patchwork of creatively varied folklore rather than genuine cryptozoological evidence. Lack of physical remains, credible photographs, or verifiable data, despite multiple expeditions, makes this creature's existence extremely unlikely. Elephants, gorillas, rhinos, other large animals in the region, hippos, have been consistently documented, but no evidence of living dinosaurs has ever surfaced. In the end, the Mokele-mbembe may represent less a surviving prehistoric relic and more of an intersection of folklore, colonial curiosity, that is a fun word, colonial curiosity, and human fascination
That's
with
a
the unknown.
great way
To highlight
to gloss
that,
over. Yeah,
to highlight
how do we
all the
rebrand,
fucking
how do we
thinly
rebrand
racism.
fucking? How do we fucking rebrand fucking
White people.
What about colonization?
Yeah, dude. Oh no, it's just a bit of colonial curiosity.
We're just a
They're
little
just over there
curious what you're
fucking.
doing with all that land over there.
We're just curious what you're doing with all those women, gold, and oil over there.
Is it for everyone?
It's just,
or
did you
is
bring
this
enough for the
belong to
whole class?
somebody?
Didn't it?
All right, we're just gonna take a sneaky little handful of all of them, and
You see, this is why you can't trust the fucking colonists, dude. So that's it, guys. That's all I got.
I have Brontosaurus updates.
Okay, yes, hit us.
That sent me down a little bit of a rabbit hole.
Yeah,
It
good.
did lose its status at one point, and it was just considered like a
Pluto?
separate, kind of, but like it was like they knew it was misclassified since like 1903 apparently.
Interesting.
Two specific archaeologists were like racing to discover the most dinosaurs,
Mhm.
and so one kind of misclassified the other to get his name on it or whatever. But then they were like, oh nope, it's just a different kind of apatosaur.
Okay.
Same thing.
So
thing.
it's not a dinosaur. It is a dinosaur still.
It got its name recognition back in 2015
Okay.
when they were like, or around 2015 when they were like, oh shit, actually no, this is its own separate thing. So it is a real dinosaur.
Oh, no shit.
Hell yeah, dude.
Huh.
Correct. Hey, that's a live, real-time correction for us. I like that.
Well,
Good.
so I was like, I got to figure this out so I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
'cause
no, me too. I don't want to
I'm
put shit out
not
there that's
spreading
wrong.
misinformation.
No.
Fuck no.
That's what we're about here. That's why I always vet shit too. I always double
Yep,
check stuff.
why is that? I'm like, good fucking question. Let me find out. Let me
Mm-hmm. No,
double check.
that's exactly it. And that's another reason I brought this setup in here so we could have a real-time check for when I'm not sure about something. So, all right, thanks everyone for listening today. I know we kind of pivoted, but next week we will be all user-submitted true crime stories. So this is your last chance to get those in. I've got a lot of them already. So just put them wherever. You can send it to 2cats1dogpodcast@gmail.com. Send us a DM on Instagram, Facebook. Text me if you know my number. Discord if you're a Patreon member. Speaking of which, we forgot to do this last week. Special shout out to our Patreon members, Zackajuia and Aaron Wiley, for being our favorite members because they fucking pay to be here.
It's true.
And you should too. I think I did the thing today where it'll make it much easier if you are a Patreon member to go through our Spotify and just listen to, you can unlock the episodes, kind of like how Last Pod does it. So if you want to listen to those, you can pay to unlock it and listen to them right there instead of having a separate spot to go to.
Yeah.
I tried to integrate that today. So hopefully, fingers crossed that worked. So thank you guys so much for being there and helping us feed our families. I'm also going to start being super annoying about this and repetitive until we're famous, but please leave us a 5-star review. Someone dinged us recently and left kind of a shitty comment, so we have to drown it out in the algorithm. I know y'all are listening and I love that, but we have to make waves. Every little like, comment, sub, rating, it does go a long way for us in the algorithm. And just remember, if we ever make enough money to not work, this thing's gonna get a whole lot better. So let's make Dan quitting his job a reality by the end of 2026, dude. That way I can make awesome content here and for the YouTube, and you guys can watch us find our places in broadcasting history. I hope you guys enjoyed today. That's all I
Drive
got.
slow.
It was fun.
Drive slow.
Don't
Don't
always
take
take
chances. Don't smoke cigarettes. Just be fucking chill, everybody. Be chill.
be chill.
Everybody be chill for a
Everybody
little
just
bit.
be cool.
We need to get through the rest of the year without losing any other good people.
Yeah.
So everybody just fucking sit in a padded room. Don't leave your apartment. Go to the doctor.
Drink water.
Virtually. Drink water.
Drink water, but not too much water.
Not too much water. You'll die.
You'll die.
You'll die. All right. Goodbye, everybody.
We know that I saw one giving birth down by
Well,
a babbling
it's
brook.
because the WVNPR or whatever the fuck they are, the WVDNR.
Gave him a bunch of Vicodin.
They gave him a bunch of Vicodin. They had
Threw
those.
him into the
They were
woods.
all. They gave him those blue little bunnies. They're all horned up.
fucking ready to
As early
Or
as
wait.
night. What
Not Vicodin. I'm stupid.
did you say? Did I say Vicodin
I
too?
definitely said Vicodin.
You said. Oh yeah, fucking Viagra.
Viagra. Thank
How did
you.
that fucking? How did that commercial? Viva Viagra.
Viva.
That's the one you want.
Viva.
Vicodin can get fucked.
Yeah, Vicodin can't get fucked.
Yep.